The galaxy had almost forgotten the name of humanity. It had been hundreds of years since anyone had spoken of Earth with fear or respect. Alien rulers told their children that humans were only a story, a warning from the past. They said humanity had been strong once, but their fires had gone out. Their homeworld turned cold, their colonies broken. Some even believed that the last human voice had been silenced long ago. But in the endless dark of space, silence can never last forever. At the edge of the galaxy, near systems thought to be dead, strange signals began to appear. They were faint at first, like whispers under static. Alien traders reported hearing them when their ships passed through old star routes. Military scouts dismissed the signals as interference, but a few old veterans remembered the pattern. It was human code, and if it was human code, it meant one thing: humanity was not gone. The discovery spread quietly at first. A patrol ship near the dead belt found ruins that were not so empty anymore. Towers that had been broken now had lights inside them. Sensors caught movement on the surface of worlds that were supposed to be lifeless. Cargo freighters disappeared, their last messages filled with static and fear. Rumors moved faster than truth. Some said humans had returned as machines, their flesh replaced by cold steel. Others said they had become something more, creatures shaped by centuries of silence and shadows. But whatever the truth was, one fact stood clear: the silence of humanity was broken. In the great halls of alien empires, leaders argued about the news. Some laughed and dismissed it. How could humans return after so many centuries? Others grew uneasy, for they remembered the wars of old. They remembered stories of how small human fleets had destroyed great armadas, how human soldiers fought even when the battle was lost, how their fire never truly died. Yet still most believed the reports were false. The galaxy was calm. The galaxy was safe. But calm never lasts long. A lone scout ship, small and fast, was the first to see it. Drifting near the edge of an abandoned star system, the pilot saw a shape rising from the clouds of a ruined world. At first he thought it was a mountain. But mountains do not move. Mountains do not shine with armor and steel. It was a ship, not an alien ship.
Not a shape known to the galaxy.
It was old, scarred, its hull marked by time, but its heart was still burning. The scout watched as more shapes rose from the world below, ships carrying the mark of humanity. He tried to escape, but the signals found him. A voice broke through the static. It was not alien. It was not machine. It was human. The scout never returned. Only fragments of his last message reached his empire. His words were broken, filled with fear, but one line was clear enough to terrify even the strongest rulers. They are back. The galaxy trembled. Some still refused to believe, but one by one reports arrived from other sectors. Merchant convoys destroyed, mining colonies burned, patrol fleets vanished in empty space, and each time survivors spoke of the same sight: warships that carried the old red markings of Earth. The silence had ended. Humanity had spoken again, not with words, but with fire. For centuries, the galaxy had thought humans were weak, forgotten, and broken. But in the darkness, humanity had been waiting. They had been building far from the eyes of empires. Every defeat had been remembered. Every betrayal had been carved into their memory, and now the first spark of their return had been lit. Aliens gathered in secret chambers, whispering in fear. They asked questions they could not answer. How many humans had survived? How strong were their fleets? What did they want after all these years? The answer came soon enough. From the shadows, a message was sent across the stars. It was short, sharp, and carried in a code the galaxy had not heard for centuries. Every ruler, every fleet commander, every soldier who read it felt the weight of it in their bones. The message said, "We were never gone." Shadows in the stars. The galaxy did not sleep easily after the first reports. Across alien empires, whispers spread like fire. Some said the humans had returned with fleets larger than anything the stars had seen. Others believed it was only a trick. Shadows dressed as soldiers, old ships dressed as ghosts. But no matter how many lies or doubts were spoken, one truth pressed down on every world. Something was moving in the dark. A council of great powers was called. The alien rulers gathered, their voices echoing across the halls of cold stone and metal. Each leader carried pride, fear, and memory of the old wars. They argued for days. Some demanded fleets be sent at once to crush the humans before their strength could grow. Others laughed and mocked. Humanity is a dead flame, they said. What can they do against the weight of the galaxy? But while the council wasted time, shadows were already moving. In the border systems, patrol ships reported being followed by shapes that stayed just beyond the reach of scanners. No matter how fast they moved, the shadows followed. Some ships fired into the dark, but nothing returned fire. Not at first. When the shadows finally struck, they struck with silence. Entire patrol groups vanished, leaving behind only wreckage drifting among the stars. The survivors who managed to escape told the same story. The attackers were human ships, scarred but alive. They moved like hunters, fast and patient, and they struck only when certain of victory. They carried no banners of empire, only the marks of Earth, symbols painted in red on old steel. Fear grew, but the galaxy was still slow to act. It was easy to believe the humans were few, a dying race clinging to old machines. But the shadows kept coming. One night, under the pale skies of a world called Yethra, the alien governor stood on his palace balcony and saw something his kind had not seen for centuries. A ship passed overhead. It was not alien. It was human. The governor trembled. That ship did not fire. It only passed slowly, like a reminder, like a warning carved into the sky. And then it vanished into the clouds. News spread. Humanity was no longer hiding only in ruins and forgotten worlds. They were stepping into the open. On distant colonies, strange messages appeared on screens and walls. No one knew how they were written, for no human was seen. But the words were simple, written in many tongues. We remember. Merchants began refusing to travel near human space. Entire trade routes fell silent. Some alien lords grew rich by selling weapons to frightened worlds. Others begged for peace talks, but no one knew where to send the words. The humans spoke only through fire and silence, but silence is its own kind of weapon. One empire, proud and cruel, decided to test the truth. They sent a fleet of 20 warships into the dead systems where humans were rumored to rise. The fleet commander announced boldly to the galaxy that he would burn the last human nest and bring back their ashes. Only 3 ships returned. Their crews were broken, their voices shaking, their eyes empty. They spoke of being hunted in the dark. They said human ships moved like wolves, circling, striking, vanishing. They said the stars themselves seemed to belong to the humans, as if the darkness was their home. But the most terrible part was not the battle. It was the moment when the humans spoke. A voice came across the comms, cold and steady. You should have left us alone. Then the fleet was gone. The galaxy could no longer deny the truth. Humanity was back. Not as beggars, not as refugees, not as weak survivors. They had returned as shadows and hunters, as a people shaped by silence and exile. And the aliens began to ask themselves, what had humanity become in all those lost centuries? In hidden chambers, spies whispered of worlds lit with human cities again, of armies drilling in the dark, soldiers wearing armor that looked older than memory, of warships hidden beneath clouds and oceans, waiting for the signal to rise. One spy spoke of seeing Earth itself, though the world was said to be ash. He swore he saw cities rebuilt, towers rising from ruins, and a great fleet orbiting above, silent but alive. His masters killed him for speaking such madness, but the story spread anyway. The galaxy trembled not from battles, but from fear of the unknown. For no empire, no council, no ruler could answer the simplest question. How many humans were there? Some said a few thousand. Others swore it was billions. Some said their fleets were broken relics. Others believed humanity had forged weapons that the galaxy could not imagine. But all agreed on one thing. The shadows in the stars were growing, and they carried the name of Earth. The silence had ended. The waiting was over. Humanity was not gone. Humanity was coming back, and this time the galaxy would not forget them again. The first strike. For months, the galaxy had lived in fear of whispers and shadows. Humanity had moved unseen, striking patrols, haunting trade routes, and sending warnings written in silence. But no empire had yet seen the full force of their return. That changed on the day of the first strike. It began in the Yelthar system, home to a proud and powerful empire. The Yelthari were old rulers of the stars, their fleets known for size and cruelty. Long ago, they had fought humanity and claimed victory. They were the ones who spread the story that Earth had been broken, that humans had been erased. For centuries, their leaders wore that victory like a crown. So when whispers of human return reached them, the Yelthari laughed. They are ghosts, their emperor declared. They are shadows, his generals agreed, and so they grew careless. On the outer world of Tharn, a mining colony filled with silver towers, the night began like any other. Workers carried ore, merchants sold their goods, and soldiers patrolled the skies. The people believed their empire strong, their fleets untouchable. But above the clouds, in the quiet cold of space, the hunters were waiting. The first sign came as silence. The colony's satellites went dark, one by one. Communication lines cut off. The planet turned its eyes to the stars, and for a moment they saw nothing, only empty sky. Then the ships appeared. They did not come with banners. They did not come with music or warning. They came like shadows falling from the dark. Human warships, heavy and scarred, dropped into orbit. Their hulls were painted with the marks of Earth, red streaks across steel. Their engines burned like fire in the night. The Yelthari garrison scrambled to fight. Fighters rose from the colony, sleek and fast, but the human ships moved like predators. They cut through the fighters with cold precision, their weapons silent flashes of light that tore metal apart. The colony's defense fleet rushed in, 12 warships, strong and armed. For a moment, the people on the surface cheered. Surely 12 ships could crush the intruders. But hope died quickly. The human fleet did not fight with numbers. They fought with patience, with strategy born of centuries of waiting. They circled, they trapped, and they struck only where the enemy was weakest. One by one, the Yelthari ships fell, broken and burning, their wrecks raining fire across the sky. On the ground, fear turned to panic. Towers shook as debris rained down. People ran to shelters, their voices filled with terror. The old stories were alive again. The humans were back, and their wrath was real. The governor of Tharn sent a desperate message across the stars. "We are under attack by the Forgotten Ones. We are burning. Help us." But no help came. From orbit, the humans spoke at last. Their voices cut into every channel, clear and cold. "You thought we were gone. You thought we were weak. But we remember." Then the bombardment began. The sky turned red as fire rained down. Human ships unleashed weapons the galaxy had not seen in centuries. Towers fell, streets burned, armies scattered. The colony that once laughed at old human stories was crushed beneath the weight of vengeance. By the time silence returned, Tharn was ash. The first strike was complete. News of the destruction spread faster than light. Across the galaxy, rulers and soldiers listened to the reports in silence. Some refused to believe. How could a forgotten people burn an entire world in one night? But survivors told the same story, their voices broken. They came from the shadows. They fought like wolves. They destroyed everything. The Yelthari Empire, once proud, now trembled. Their fleets were large, their armies strong, but the fear of humanity was stronger. Old veterans who had once fought humans wept, whispering of battles they thought forgotten. Younger soldiers asked questions no leader could answer. If one world could fall, how many more would follow? But humanity did not stop. In the weeks after Tharn, more colonies fell. Some were destroyed, others simply abandoned after their leaders surrendered without a fight. Human fleets moved quickly, never staying long, striking and vanishing. They left behind only wreckage, fire, and silence. Yet they also left behind something worse than destruction. A message. On every world they touched, they carved the same. Words into broken walls and ruined screens. We were never gone. The galaxy had laughed at humanity, had called them extinct, had believed them erased. But now the laughter had died. The shadows had stepped into the light, and the light revealed fire. The first strike was not just a battle, it was a promise. Humanity had returned, and this was only the beginning. The broken galaxy, the fall of Tharn shattered more than towers and streets. It shattered the lie the galaxy had believed for centuries. Humanity was not gone. They were alive, and they were stronger than the galaxy remembered. The news spread across every empire, every council, every throne room. Leaders who once laughed at the rumors now sat in silence. The images of Tharn burned into their minds. Cities broken, fleets destroyed, the sky turned red by human fire. The galaxy was no longer united in its arrogance. It was breaking apart under fear. In the High Council of the 12 Empires, arguments roared like storms. Some rulers demanded war. They said the galaxy must rise as one to crush humanity before their shadow grew larger. They promised fleets, weapons, soldiers, and endless fire. But others trembled. They remembered the stories of the old wars, of how humanity fought even when outnumbered, of how they turned weakness into strength. They whispered that fighting humanity would only bring more fire, more ruin. Better to surrender, better to make peace, better to bow before the storm than to be destroyed by it. The council broke into pieces. Alliances collapsed. Old friends turned into enemies, and every empire began to act for itself. Some built fleets, piling ship upon ship thinking numbers could save them. Others built walls hiding behind shields and fortresses, praying the humans would pass them by. And still others sent spies and envoys into the dark, searching for the truth of Earth's return. But truth was hard to find, for humanity revealed little. They struck where they wished, vanished when they chose, and left only fire behind. To some it seemed they had no plan, only vengeance. To others, it looked like strategy. Each strike carefully chosen to spread fear, to break the galaxy without needing to fight it all at once. The broken galaxy whispered and trembled. Merchants abandoned trade routes near human space. Markets went silent, shelves empty. Refugees poured from border worlds, their stories filled with terror. Children cried in the night, and their parents told them to be quiet, for even a whisper might call the humans down upon them. But humanity was not only fire, they were also silence, and silence is its own kind of weapon. On one world, the people woke to find their skies filled with human ships, but no fire fell. Instead, messages appeared across every screen, every channel. We remember you. We do not forget. Then the ships left without a single shot fired. The people lived, but they lived in fear, for they knew the humans could return at any time. Other worlds were not so lucky. Fleets that resisted were broken. Colonies that mocked were burned. Empires that boasted were silenced. Humanity was no longer hiding, no longer waiting. They were showing the galaxy piece by piece what their silence had created. In hidden chambers, alien spies carried reports. They spoke of human armies drilling, in shadows of war machines rising from oceans, of great shipyards burning with new life. Some even whispered of Earth itself, rebuilt and alive, its skies filled with fleets that had waited for centuries. The galaxy broke further with every story. Some empires surrendered before a single human ship appeared. They sent messages into the dark, promising tribute, promising loyalty, begging to be spared. Others plotted in secret, seeking new weapons, ancient artifacts, anything that might stand against humanity's wrath. But unity was gone. Trust was gone. The galaxy was broken, and humanity had done it with only shadows and fire. In the ruins of Tharn, a lone survivor wrote words that spread faster than fleets, carried from world to world, whispered in fear and awe. We thought they were gone. We thought they were weak. But the humans are not what they were. They are something else now, something the galaxy cannot stop. And so the question grew louder in every council, every palace, every silent hall of power. What do the humans want? Were they here for revenge? For conquest? For justice? Or did they want something darker, something no alien could understand? No answer came. Only silence, only shadows, only the memory of fire. The galaxy was broken and the humans were not finished. The return that shattered worlds. The galaxy had broken into fear. But fear turned to silence when the humans made their final move. It began not with a battle, but with a signal. Across thousands of worlds at the same moment, every screen turned black, every comm channel filled with static, every ship, every city, every station went silent. Then the silence cleared and one symbol appeared. It was simple. A blue circle crossed with a red mark, the old flag of Earth. A symbol the galaxy had not seen for centuries. The message followed. A voice calm and cold, spoken in 100 alien languages. We were never gone. We only waited. The galaxy thought we were broken, but we are alive. We are strong, and now we return. The words spread like fire through the stars. Leaders shivered, soldiers clenched their fists, and ordinary people stared in awe. The forgotten name of Earth had returned, and then the fleets came. From hidden systems, from dead worlds, from the shadows of nebulae, they rose. Human warships, countless and vast, filled the skies. Some were old, scarred veterans of forgotten battles. Others were new, forged in silence, weapons unknown to the galaxy. Together they moved as one, a storm of steel and fire. But the greatest shock was not the fleets. It was Earth itself. For centuries, the galaxy had believed Earth was a tomb, a dead planet burned in the old wars. But when the humans revealed it, the truth shattered that lie. Earth was alive. Its cities shone with towers of glass and steel. Its oceans glimmered with light. And above it, orbiting like guardians, floated massive shipyards, each one birthing new vessels. The homeworld of humanity had not been broken. It had been reborn. Alien rulers who saw the images trembled. Some collapsed where they stood. For if Earth had survived, if Earth had rebuilt, then all their victories of the past meant nothing. Humanity had risen from the grave, stronger than before, and no power could erase them now. The galaxy's people asked the same question again and again. What do the humans want? The answer came with fire. One by one, the empires that had betrayed humanity long ago were struck. Not with small raids, not with whispers in the dark, but with full fleets. Worlds that once enslaved humans were burned to ash. Palaces that once mocked Earth fell in ruins. The humans did not send diplomats, they did not ask for talks. They answered centuries of silence with vengeance. Yet not every world was destroyed. Some surrendered before the first shot was fired. And to those the humans gave a choice: kneel and live. Resist and burn. Most chose to kneel. The galaxy began to change. Maps redrew themselves as empires fell and new banners rose. Trade routes shifted, carrying human fleets instead of alien merchants. Old powers were broken, their leaders dead or exiled. In their place, humanity stood at the center of every star chart, their flag raised high. But it was not only fear that spread. It was awe. Ordinary people, farmers, miners, workers on distant colonies, whispered of humanity as if they were legends. They told their children that humans were ghosts who returned, that their fire was endless, that no empire could stand against them. Some even welcomed the humans, praying that their strength would bring order to the galaxy's chaos. Yet deep in every mind, fear remained, because no one truly knew what humanity wanted beyond vengeance. Would they stop once the old debts were paid? Or would they claim the stars for themselves, building an empire where all others bowed? In the high council chambers, broken and silent, the surviving rulers gathered one last time. Their voices were weak, their faces pale, and for the first time in centuries they spoke without arrogance. "What can we do?" one whispered. "There is nothing," another replied. "The humans have returned. The galaxy belongs to them now." And so it was. The humans sent one final message, short and sharp.